You know, as a newfound Christian, the question of evolution is a very important one. The Catholic faiths adopt this belief that evolution did happen, but other denominations deny it, such as
The Orthodox
denomination. I do believe that evolution did not happen. I really had to ask myself some serious questions. And a lot of these questions are going to be found in this video we're about to react to by the Living Waters channel by Ray Comfort. So, let's get right into it.
Do you believe in evolution, or do you think God made man in his own image?
Honestly, it's a bit of both, really.
Bit of both?
Yeah.
I think it was a little bit of both.
I do believe in evolution, but I feel like he made all of that. I don't know.
Let me ask you a question about evolution. Do you know what an epiglottis is?
No.
Without it, you'd be dead. And it cuts off your lungs when you eat food. How did he swallow before the epiglottis evolved?
Good question. But probably because I just kind of maybe along the line it just kind of became part of eventually it just kind of became joined. I'm not too sure.
You don't know.
Probably like gills, in fishes.
So we kind of had gills?
So we came from fish?
Sway.
Okay. Well, I'm, of course, a teenager. I'm a teenage Christian, so who am I to speak on this issue? Ray Comfort is well established, and I think he's going to have way better of an explanation than I would. Let's just let him do his work.
Yeah.
Before the eye evolved, how did we see?
Well, I know from some science classes that we used to like snails. They just have the little sunspots. All they can do is detect light, I guess different shades of light. So I'm guessing that's how they kind of evolved.
Our senses.
We just sort of stumbled about with feeling and touching and smelling and tasting, and we couldn't see, we were blind.
Yeah.
How did he find a mate? Because he's got to find a woman to reproduce, and she's obviously blind because her eyes haven't evolved. How did that work?
Probably just natural instinct, I guess, at that point.
This blind first primate male human being with gills, how did he find his first female to procreate and have offspring? Because he was blind.
Maybe by communicating with hands or showing gestures.
She would have been blind too. So just keep feeling around in the dark till you feel someone there, and then you go for it and have kids.
I mean, they probably had better sense, with sense of smell, maybe.
So he would smell for the woman, see, and she'd smell for him, and they'd sort of meet in the dark. Probably. I got to tell you, I don't believe in evolution. I think it's a farce. I think it's a fairy tale for grown-ups. It makes no sense. It's unscientific. I went to a couple of universities, UCLA and USC, and another university professor, and they were experts in evolution, actually, evolutionary scientists, and I pressed them for scientific evidence, empirical evidence for Darwin's evolution, and they couldn't give it. None of them could, because there's no evidence. It's all received by blind faith. So you think God made Adam as a whole person and not an evolving person? Because you either got to go one way or the other.
He made him as a person.
Yeah. Adaptation is when birds' beaks change, like can happen in the Galapagos Islands. The beaks of those finches change, but they remain birds. And speciation, we have all sorts of dogs within a species, within a kind. You've got your Chihuahua and you've got your Great Dane, but that's
Yeah, it's very interesting that Ray brings up this point with adaptation and speciation, because as a Christian, right, you might not believe in evolution, but you have to believe in adaptation and speciation because there's actual scientific evidence to back that up. The idea that species can adapt, birds can develop shorter beaks and all that. That's not really what I mean by evolution, though. I mean the idea that everything evolved from everything else. The idea that we came from, say, fish. You know, if you believe in evolution, it's a long time. You assume in millions and millions of years that human beings, for some reason, developed out of some fish or some microorganisms. I mean, there's so many questions about it, and I'm glad Ray is asking these questions. I'm not an evolutionary biologist, nor am I an evolutionary scientist, but I do know that This question of evolution and the question of God's existence are the same thing. If everything came from organisms, microorganisms, then what made those microorganisms? Back to the Big Bang. What started the Big Bang? Did God start it? Like, you really have to ask yourself these questions, because you can't assume that nothing created everything, because that doesn't make any sense.
Is he the God of the Bible?
Yes.
Okay. Well, Jesus destroyed evolution with one sentence. He said, in the beginning, God made them male and female. And so, if you believe the Bible and you believe Jesus, then evolution is a farce, it's a fantasy. Like Darwin actually said, he was afraid that what he'd proposed was a fantasy. Alondra, do you think God is happy with you or angry at you?
I think he's happy.
I think he's happy?
Yeah. I think he loves everyone.
So you've done nothing that could offend God or anger him?
No.
Don't trust your goodness. This is something that's very important. Your ability to do good in the world is entirely independent from you being saved. The recipe for salvation is believing that Jesus Christ died for your sins. I've watched this sermon from Gene Kim, and Dr. Gene Kim talks about how Jesus Christ died for our sins so that we can have 0% sin within us and then join him at the end of it all. Wraith has such a beautiful way of convincing and speaking to a group of people and having an impact in their life that is positive. He has such a convincing way of doing so, and it's truly an inspiration to see him speak. Guys, I know you guys love these videos of me reacting to all sorts of different preachers. You know what? I could react to a whole array of them, but at the end of the day, what really matters is that you strengthen your relationship with God. And I know there are going to be people who are going to start commenting in these videos, a bunch of stuff saying, oh, evolution is true. Listen, I'm not here to argue. You can comment whatever you want on my channel. All you're going to do is just promote the video to other people. You're actually going to help me. So it would actually be better for you if you don't comment if you have something to hate, you know? But aside from that though, I do thank you guys extremely. I thank you so much for watching this video. And listen, I'm wearing a shirt from now on, and stay strong.